Lab Science Podcast, your boy Professor Sense. This is actually a request from one of our listeners. I believe episode 1 or 2, probably the second one, was dedicated to the Korg Minilogue. We kind of did a quick run through when I first got the keyboard. I've had it for a long time since then. But someone wanted me to just kind of play with one from an initialized patch and just kind of see where things go without any notes. So figured might as well do that today really quick. I have the Minilogue loaded up to its default sound. It's in poly mode, so we can technically play chords and all that good stuff. So I guess let's just dig in and I'll talk you through whatever changes I make. So there's a mixer section. When I'm programming with the Minilogue, I like to start with one oscillator. So I'm going to turn the second oscillator and the noise oscillator down. We're going to work with just one oscillator. And I think the square wave is pretty meaty. Let's shape that a bit. Cool. Now that's going to handle my low. I try to get some spread in my sound, so let's introduce the second oscillator via the mixer, and I'm going to bring it up a couple of octaves so it'll handle our highs. Nice, got some movement already. This is synced. A lot of times, I'll actually take the second oscillator out of sync and play with the pitch to get some weird variation. So let's see what we can get here. That's nice. That's real nice. Doesn't sound that great stacked. Huh? On the higher registers, it actually does. Cool. Let's add some cross modulation so the oscillators modulate each other. Add some movement. See what the ring mod sounds like. It actually smooths out the sound a bit. I'm gonna keep it raw. So let's play with this filter a bit. We're gonna add some resonance and start the filter sweep. And the resonance actually lowers the volume a bit. So I often recommend a compressor, or I just have a dedicated gain. I'm using an Apogee Duet, so I'll just turn the gain up a bit. But just turn that up a tad. So I really want to crank this resonance. Some release, maybe soften the attack. Let's engage some of this delay. I kind of like the warmth of all this, so. a really noisy delay, which I personally love. It kind of has a metallic, distorted sound to it. And on its own, it sounds a little weird, but I find when I'm mixing, it helps the Minilogue stand out a lot in the mix, oddly enough. So something I'll do a lot is have a real short delay time just so it sounds bigger, not really delayed. And then I'll play with the feedback, and that gives it that kind of shiny. You can hear it picking up now. Bypass. Just adds a little top. It's nice. We haven't done anything with the LFO yet, so let's play with the LFO section. I'll send it to the filter cutoff. Bring the intensity up, the rate down. Intensity down a bit. And I'm actually going to switch from a poly mode to mono mode now. Just because I want to play with that sub bass and see where that goes. So actually I should explain that the voice mode depth changes based on what voice mode you have on. So poly allows us to play chords. And changing the voice mode depth will change to different inversions of the chord. So very, very neat feature, especially if you don't play. You can find some basic chords and then invert them and really flesh things out. But when you switch the Minilogue to mono mode, it's a monophonic synth now, so there's no inversions to be had. That voice mode depth knob now will add a sub oscillator to the mix. That's going to help us here because we're losing some of the sub bass with this filter resonance, so you can get some more back on the back end using this knob. So this is without any additional sub. I'm going to introduce sub. Let's add some key tracking to the filter and some velocity tracking. I want to add some more movement onto the filter, and this is what I love about the Minilogue, actually. The second envelope section here. The first envelope is for your volume envelope, so you adjust the attack, decay, sustain, and release of the volume, and, you know, for example, cut the release, it shortens the volume, so on and so forth. The second envelope is an identical situation, but it doesn't route to the volume. It can be routed to things like to the pitch, or to the filter, and that's where I really want to play with it here. So this filter has an EG-INT knob under it. It's the intensity of the second envelope generator. And this basically will dictate the path of the filter. combined with the velocity and key tracking, there's a lot of kind of evolving movement that goes on in this patch. And it sounds good in the low and the high register. And again, in those highs, even you can get some more of that sub out.